Thank you for joining. Welcome to the Forge Partner Talk series. This week, our episode focuses on tracking progress using reality capture. I'm Sanjana Chand. I'm the Forge Developer Marketing Manager. At the end of today's panel, I will be asking our guests the questions you submit. So please feel free to ask any questions you like under the Q&A tab. The session will also be recorded and sent to you afterwards. Today's host is Emily Sherbensky. Emily, please take it away.
Thank you, Sanjana. So good morning, good afternoon. Thanks again for joining us today. As Sanjana said, my name is Emily Sherbensky and I lead the Forge marketing team at Autodesk. So we actually have three great partners joining us today who are using cutting-edge technology to help their customers capture and visualize site data. And while our focus this month in August for these webinars has been on construction, it's worth noting that our partners today cater to many other industry customers, from construction to manufacturing to even agriculture. And the solutions vary from harnessing the power of drones to easily uploading and accessing models in AR to laser scanning and translating large point cloud data into 3D meshes. Really, we got some exciting stuff to cover today. So kicking off, let's meet our three panelists. First up, we have Roger from VisualLive. Roger, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Roger. I work at VisualLive. I am the Chief Technology Officer. We've been in this business for about 4 years, and we're having a lot of fun with AR.
Great. All right, Dominique, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Dominique Pouliquen, one of the co-founders of Cintoo, based in Florida. I'm happy to be part of this talk today.
Thank you. And then last but not least, Katie from DroneDeploy.
Hi, I'm Katie O'Leary. I'm a product marketing manager. I've been with DroneDeploy for about 18 months, and thank you for having me here.
Great. All right, so I'm going to spend a little time with each panelist, and then we'll move into audience Q&A. So if you guys have questions anytime throughout this morning's webinar, please submit them through the Q&A box. And Sanjana will be collecting them, and we'll make sure we answer them towards the end of the session. So kicking off with Roger, I would love to just hear a little bit more about the work that you do and the work that VisualLive does.
Yeah, so roughly 4 years ago, we started this journey. It was just me and Saeed, he's the CEO. And we developed a prototype on the iPad for augmented reality, and quickly people wanted to use it for the job sites. So we quickly got clients. We work with over 1,500 clients now. So we have oil and gas companies, we have construction, we have architects, and we've been focused on the AEC industry. And the problem we're solving is you can take your 3D model from any software. We have Navisworks, Revit, and you can put that onto the HoloLens or the iPad. We also support Android. So take that out to the field, you can visualize the 3D model, and then do things like issue capture, progress tracking, and see discrepancies with the model, things like that. So that's what we've been focused on at VisualLive.
Great. Do you want to share a video or demo to give us an idea of what that might look like?
Yes, let me do that.
Great.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
So as you can see here, this is the HoloLens application. They are using this 3D model to see their data center. And in this case, they are using our different tools to move and align the model. We have X-ray tools to change the transparency so you can see through objects. This is very useful if you need to get in close and see if there is any discrepancies. So you can see they turned it down all the way there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and we have tools that allow you to align automatically. So they come to this area and it will automatically snap into place and align. We have a feature we call locks. You can actually see a couple of them in the background there. And then of course, so we have different features for like hierarchy. So we export that directly from the model from Revit and Navisworks as well. That allows you to toggle different things on and off. So we have layers and sets, so you can see, like, I want to see the duct work, I want to see the piping, I want to see the walls. you can do all of that.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
And right here, he's going to take a picture. So this is where our issue capturing feature comes into play. Yeah, start capturing, and then we take a picture. It has a countdown timer so you can position the photo. And then once the photo is captured, you'll be able to upload that directly to BIM 360. So we have a form you fill out. You can give it a name, you can give it a comment, and then you can pick if it's an issue, an RFI, observation, or punch list. Currently, we only upload issues to BIM 360, but we're excited to add the RFI feature. And of course, we have this on mobile, and it's essentially the same experience. Those are my 2 videos.
Very cool. So when you are, you know, what would a customer what does it usually look like when a customer comes to you? What are their challenges? And can you talk a little bit, maybe give a specific customer example of, you know, how this solution really worked for them and the benefits they found?
Yes, so the biggest challenge for this industry is communication, being able to make changes on the fly. So what we have done is we've replaced the old, boring, tedious meetings with, an agile approach to construction. So our goal is to put somebody out in the field with this technology so that they can quickly see any discrepancies with their BIM model and then be able to communicate that back to the office and make adjustments. And that can be very costly if they don't have this method. So we try to inject this into people's workflow so that they can optimize and get to the answer quickly. So a customer example. So we, like in this case, this is a data center that is being worked on, and as they're building it, they run into issues with, this beam is off by 5 inches, or sometimes even more, like, oh, this is almost 2 feet off. And then they'll quickly send that back to the 3D modelers and they'll fix it. And then they'll go back out to the field. They'll give it to the manager or the person in charge of the site, and they'll check it off and go, this is good. And of course, with all of our integrations, you can quickly send that back to, BIM 360 issues and collaborate with your team. So we're trying to speed up that process of, oh, we found an issue, we need to fix this.
Yeah. And so you mentioned BIM 360. I assume that's where Forge comes into play for you guys in terms of the integration. Is that correct? Yes,
we support both. We support the new Forge, and we also support the old BIM 360 field. This is actually what we started with. So we actually had the old BIM 360 field integration, and now we support. As you can see here, this is my test project. We also have it uploaded to issues on document management. And these all have attachments. So when you upload the image, you are getting a holographic image for the attachment here. So if I was to click this, you'd see that there was holograms. Let me see if I can. I think that's a good one, actually.
Yeah, I'm actually curious how long the upload takes to push the larger BIM or CAD models.
Yeah, you can see this is in our apartment. But yeah, you get the holographic pipes and stuff there. So that is uploaded with the image. And for upload time, so we also support offline. So you're actually able to go out to the field, and if you have no internet connection, you're able to capture, if you want 20 different photos. And then when you go back to the office, you can upload. It is going through the Wi-Fi on the HoloLens and the iPads, so it varies on your speeds, but it's not too bad. Each photo is like 1 meg to 3 megs. So
cool.
You can upload pretty quick.
Yeah, and then I was kind of reading through your website and doing my own research because this was a new solution to me, which is very cool. It mentioned kind of working with VDC, FM, project management tools, kind of inputting your data into that. Can you talk a little bit more about how that works and what you can do with that?
Yeah, you're talking about the like the properties and of the model and all of that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for the model, we do, since we're dealing with BIM models, we take all the model's information and we upload that to VisualLive as well. So not only is it an issue capture and visualization tool, but you're also able to view the data per object and get into how much does this part cost and what's the size of this part? And you can customize all that data. We actually upload it to Google and OneDrive, so you can edit the Excel sheets there. So if you want to get into the the nitty-gritty details of your model, you can do that. And this can also help with communication. So when you're out on the job site, you need to check, okay, what is this part? Who manufactured this? When was this installed? Because we also have that as well. You're able to go out there and you're able to validate, okay, this project is on track because 50% of the model has been installed. And we have tools that allow you to click and say, this is installed, this has a problem, has been fabricated. So we try to handle that workflow for the progress tracking as well.
Great.
Did I answer your question?
You did, yeah, thank you.
Sweet.
I'd love to hear a little bit more about kind of the challenges that you faced, or your biggest lessons learned. I know you're kind of working with cutting edge technology here.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of challenges with augmented reality. Early on in the business, when we started, it was model size.
Mm-hmm.
So the HoloLens and the iPad, that they're mobile devices, so they can't necessarily handle the entire BIM model. We've worked on that extensively, and now we're able to render up to 5 million and sometimes more depending on the model. And we also have a lot of great tools for sectioning it down and loading room by room or floor by floor. So that was one of the first challenges we faced. Another challenge with augmented reality is alignment. So in these videos, you'll see the models already pre-aligned. In the beginning of VisualLive, that was one of our prime focuses, was how do we get this model to align quickly and efficiently and so it's accurate? Because if it's off by 3 inches, that affects the validation process. So we came up with different solutions. We have our marker solution, which is a convenient QR code you place on the wall, and you can go in, you can scan that, and it will align the model to that QR code. Our second solution, which we just released about 2 months ago, is our automatic lock feature. So you go out to the field, you place your model, you align it, and then you can lock it down. And you actually see, I wonder if I can show you, you can actually kind of see it right there. There's a couple of locks. Let me see if I can find one. Yeah, right here, there's a lock. That's actually positioned on a pillar behind that model. And it saves that position. And then when you go out to the field the next time and you scan that area, it will automatically load and align that model. So that was our second challenge, was alignment. And we've got that down pat.
Cool. All right, and then what's next? What are you guys thinking of or focusing on moving forward?
Moving forward, we want to really push the collaboration process. So we're working on a new projects system so that you can invite people to your project and view the models together. And with that, you'll be able to track all the installation tracking per project. So right now we have individual accounts, and you kind of have to share models to collaborate. We're going to kind of put that all into one hub, and of course integrate that alongside BIM 360. And for viewing and all of that, we are also integrating with Forge Viewer so that we are able to see that on the web.
Great. All right. Well, thank you. That's great.
You're welcome.
We'll circle back to you with more questions towards the end. But I'd like to move on to Dominique and hear a little bit more about Cintoo and what you guys do there. Tell me a little bit more about your work.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity, Emily. So Cintoo is a company based in France and in the US. We developed Cintoo Cloud. This is a cloud-based platform at the convergence of reality capture and digital twins. So Cintoo Cloud is being used by industries like construction, engineering, manufacturing, energy, oil and gas. Every industry using terrestrial laser scanning for years to capture accurate as-built for various purposes. So we solve big industry challenges with Cintoo Cloud. The first one is the fact that this kind of data is huge. When you scan a site, you end up easily with terabytes of data. So until now, this data was purely desktop centric, so nobody will be able to share this data via the cloud. So we really make the laser scans fully cloud compatible That means that you can upload it to the cloud, share, view in the simple web browser, measure, annotate, distribute them back for desktop for Scan to BIM workflows. And we use a unique point cloud to mesh technology to do that, which is patented in the US. And by making the laser scan cloud compatible, they become BIM compatible because BIM is all about collaboration. So using these mesh-based scans, we solve other big industry challenges, which is about making this data much easier to view, to interpret by very different, a lot of different stakeholders, which are non-3D specialists, like owners, for example.
Very cool. Do you have a demo or video you'd like to share?
Yeah, I'd like to show you a quick demo, a live demo of the platform. So let me share my screen and go to this. So can you see my screen now?
It's starting. There we go.
Okay, so here I'm using a Google Chrome as a browser. So these are various projects that have been uploaded already to the cloud. So I can view them as a thumbnail, but also on a list here, or even on a map here. It's really various ways to access your project. So let me go in one project like this one. So this project has various scans. There have been about 74 scans uploaded to the cloud. We also, with this platform, can organize the scans in various folders, or what we call work zones. So you will see all the scans that have been uploaded. And what we do the point cloud to mesh transformation prior to the upload. So everything in the cloud is mesh based, and we then use mesh streaming to view this data. So let me jump into one scan like that. So this is a typical scan. It's been scanned. No, not this one. Sorry. Let me go into this one. Like this one, for example. So this is a typical scan that has been scanned by either a Faro scanner or Leica scanner, a Trimble scanner. And then what you can do by going play 3D, you will go into the 3D view, and this is what you will see. So everything about streaming data from the cloud, okay? So now I'm streaming data from the cloud, and here, this is a typical panoramic view that you can see from a laser scanner. But what we did, we turned this into a 3D model, okay? So this is a 2D panoramic view, but if I move to the 3D RGB, so this is now a 3D model, a 3D mesh. And you can see that by removing the color, and you will see the surface. So this surface is really what has been captured by the laser beam, okay? And this is where the technology shines, because this technology will reveal details in your laser scan that nobody has could see before. You see the quality of the mesh that we do produce. So people are used to looking at this, where you see not a lot of stuff because of overexposure and underexposure. Now we offer this kind of view for this same data. And for example, if I move to the next scan here, everything is about mesh streaming. So you will see that we stream meshes until we have the highest level of detail. And then you can use this kind of view to do measurements, very accurate measurement to the accuracy of the scanner. We can also do create annotations, add annotations like issues, notes, private notes. And you can enrich your project with this, okay? We have various other ways to view the data, like of course, you can get out from the laser scan position, go to X-ray vision, for example, and see all your scans in context. So this is what we do. Another key value proposition that we have is the possibility to connect Cintoo Cloud to BIM 360 and pull a BIM model in our viewer and do the comparisons. So for QA, QC during construction, this is what you can do. Let me show you this one in action as well, like with this customer data set. So the way you do that is you would connect to BIM 360 by connecting to, you say, upload models. And you have the possibility here to connect to BIM 360. Of course, this is where we use Forge. And then we can pull either a Revit model, a Navisworks model, or a DWG model. So now when, when I go to the 3D view, I have not only the scanned data as a mesh, but also I've got the BIM model. So we'll start by downloading the BIM model.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then when I go into scan mode, what I see now in from this exact scan position is a superimposition of the mesh and on the CAD data. So the goal here is to use this comparison tool where I select, I want to compare my scans, which is the as-built, to the model, which is a design intent, and I will automatically detect differences between the two. Okay, so everything here highlighted in red is data that is in the as-built, so in the scan data, which is not in the BIM model. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The goal here is to find issues, like, for example, here, I know there is an issue here, which I can highlight here, because you see this door is red, because if you compare now with this other tool, you can compare the scan data. So this is the scans, okay? This is what has been scanned in the real life, but this is a BIM model. And you see we're missing a door here, okay? So this could be an issue, and then what you want to do is document those issues using BCF. And so that you just create an annotation here, add an annotation, say, okay, this is an issue. This door needs to be added to the BIM model, etc. And then you create the annotation. And then you can share this information and push back this as a BCF in Revit, in Navisworks. And now we're also pushing to BIM 360 thanks to the Forge platform. So this is basically what we do.
Very cool. So in terms of the laser scan part, you need to have the laser physically in the room, is that correct?
Yeah, so people are used to using laser scanners. So what they do, they laser scan a site by putting their tripod in various places. It's a long process. It's a pretty expensive process. Laser scanning has been used for 40 years. It's not a new process. What is new is the fact that this data is now becoming cloud compatible. Okay, so people can use a cloud finally to share, first to view, to access this data, to manage the access, but also to view the data and do some analysis like comparing to the BIM model in a simple web viewer.
And is there currently, or the goal to kind of have this be automatic in terms of identifying the issues? And
yeah, of course, once the data is in the cloud, now we are implementing some AI engine, you know, to detect those issues automatically, or to geolocate assets in your laser scans. So of course, this is the future, but today is a more visual check, but this is already very useful. People love this feature.
Okay, and I have to ask, I feel like I saw Han Solo coming out of the wall in one of the things. So it's not just construction, right, that you guys are working. There's a lot of other kind of fields and industries that this is applicable to.
Yes, we have about, so we started selling this new technology. First, this new technology took about 20 years to be developed in a lab first, and then we made it a product. So we started selling Cintoo Cloud about 18 months ago, and we have about 100 companies now using it over these last 18 months. And they have uploaded more than 500,000 scans to the platform, which represent roughly 1 billion square feet of various building spaces. Can be office spaces, construction sites, factories, plants, oil rigs. More than 70% of them are based in North America. So I can name a few customers like HOK, Clayco, Stantec, Power Construction they use in construction industry, SSOE, BBA in the engineering space, or in the manufacturing space. So people dealing with factories and retrofitting factories, people like FCA, in Detroit, for example. Yeah, and I must say that our customers love the platform once they start using it. So we have a very high satisfaction rate, which we can check through the renewals of the subscription.
So their main problem where they're coming to you is really getting this data into the cloud. Is that
because this data is there, but the big question, and this is a question we had in the past when I was working in the recap team at Autodesk for a while. What do you do with this big point cloud? Okay, so finally they have a way to share that, to view that, to share with stakeholders, and to do some analytics via the cloud. And in the COVID period, this is proven to be very efficient, because now you can continue working on your data while being stuck at home. For example, you don't need to be on site. Only one guy will go on site for surveying, on capturing the data, but then hundreds of people can access the data now.
Very cool. All right, and then similar to the question I asked Roger, what's next for you guys? You mentioned a little bit more around AR or AI. Is that really the next steps for you guys? What's coming?
Oh yeah, the first, we have a very demanding customer, so we have a long wish list of features that we need to add to the platform, including pushing issues to BIM 360, which we do already, to BIM track instead of exporting and importing BCFs. Definitely two big projects in parallel to that, which is AI. Also automatically geolocating, tagging, and classifying assets, because you end up with big factories like hundreds of thousands of square feet, and you need to know how many pumps you have, how many valves you have, how many whatever. So AI can help here, and we're working on that. The other one is VR, not AR really, but more VR. People want to be immersed in these virtual spaces, which are the exact representation of the real space. Okay, so we can do that today already in the product. We use WebVR to do that, but now we're implementing a mesh streaming API to be able to stream those meshes in game engines like Unreal or Unity. And the goal is to develop a very rich immersive experiences, mixing a Scan and BIM to do that. So this is something coming in Q3, Q4, and that will be really a game changer for many industries.
Very cool. All right. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you. All right, Katie, moving on to you and DroneDeploy. I'd love to hear a little bit more about what you guys do. Obviously, you work with drones; it's in your name. But maybe tell us a little bit about what you do. If you'd like to show a video or demo, feel free.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, let me share my screen first, just to help explain a little bit what we do. So DroneDeploy is the leading drone data solution. We work with construction, energy companies, and agriculture. And basically what we do is we allow our customers to capture their site data. So they can use any drone, like a DJI drone or a Skydio drone, and then we turn that into meaningful information. So for example, our software will take thousands of imagery from that drone, and then we'll automatically create 2D maps, 3D models, videos, panoramas, and then our solution helps surface insights. So if you're trying to validate work, if you're trying to verify progress or resolve issues, you can do that looking at these 2D maps and models. And then all of this information can then be shared into other applications like Autodesk BIM 360 or PlanGrid. We have lots of integrations with other companies as well, like Esri or storage, like Google Drive or something like that. So yeah, I will share a video.
Yeah, it looks like your connection might be a little rough, but let's give it a shot and see if it works.
Okay.
The slide was coming up a little blurry for us. All right, so that was a little blurry for us. So maybe walk us through what we were looking at.
Yeah, so it went through some of the analysis. So basically, right, capturing all of that imagery, you can capture from different sensors. So in there, if you saw plant health, so we can do like multispectral or just pulling from RGB, or we can do thermal as well. And so you can look at typical orthomosaic, which looks like a regular 2D map, create models, but then you can also look at those visualizations that are harder to like thermal. And then you can do lots of different analysis on top of that, similar to what Dominique was saying, right? You can do measurements and annotations. We have an inspection workflow where you can tag issues, add comments, assign issues to other colleagues. You can share, collaborate. You can have, we have customers that have one person in DroneDeploy, and we have customers that have thousands of people in DroneDeploy. So we can really scale depending on the size of your organization and the need as well.
Okay, and then, so in terms of hardware, is this specific types of drones? Is it pretty agnostic in terms of which ones you're using? How does that work?
Yeah, no, good question. So we do have integrations with DJI and Skydio drones. So we have a mobile application where we, as DroneDeploy, can control the drone. So you can create flight plans, basically press a button, and the drone will carry out that plan. We also have manual flight, so you can, if you're trying to do a close-up inspection, you can still use DroneDeploy to control the drone and fly, however you need to. But we also have a processing engine. And so we can bring in any geo-tagged photos. So it doesn't have to be through our mobile app. We can process even images from your phone or from your iPad or any other type of drone. We partner and work with, fixed wing drones, like a wing thing like that, where you can bring in, really and model, and we'll process it and stitch it all together for you.
Cool. And then I see you have a customer quote up here. Again, it's a little blurry for me. I don't know if it's blurry for everyone else, but I do see a really great quote here about 2 to 3 days of facade crack inspections would be cut down to 4 to 5 hours. So I'd love to hear more about what this customer was doing, what they came to you for, and a proof point like this is awesome in terms of the benefits that they found. So can you tell us a little bit more about the customer story behind this?
Yeah, of course. And Brassfield and Gorey has kind of similar challenges and pain points that a lot of our customers in construction are facing. And that is how to be able to track progress on a regular basis and comparing as-builts versus your as-designed, right? You're doing the QA, QC, you're walking your site every single day, you're doing the inspections throughout the entire process. And so how to make that efficient is a challenge. And also, as other panelists said, right, how do you make sure that that information is easy to digest and then easy to share out with your other team members so that you can actually make decisions on it. And so one of the things that our customers will do is they will bring in their designs into DroneDeploy, and so that you can overlay your plans on top of a 2D map, and so that you can really see at every single stage. You can do it every day, and you can have, multiple plans. You can see and make sure that you're building to design. And so one thing that happened with Brassfield and Gorey, and this is just one example on one site, this happens all the time, they were putting in wheelchair access. And so before they laid the concrete, they looked at the design and to make sure that everything was in the right place, and saw that it wasn't, saw that it was a few feet off. And that ended up saving them about they estimated about 18 to 20K of rework costs, because they were able to check the design with reality. And you do that easily in DroneDeploy. The one thing that is really great with BIM 360 is that we have this bi-directional integration. And so you can automatically bring your designs into DroneDeploy, and if any changes are made, we'll update those designs in DroneDeploy. But then you can also automatically send your maps to BIM 360 so that you have all of that documentation and that record within the right project within BIM 360. And the other cool thing that I did want to show you guys is we also integrate where you can see DroneDeploy within BIM 360 so that you don't actually ever have to leave if you don't want to. You can get the full DroneDeploy experience in 360. So see all of your projects in that same dashboard interface.
Great, and I'm assuming this is where Forge comes into play for you guys?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's where that bi-directional integration has come. We also have integrations with PlanGrid that are doing something similar, right? You can automatically export your maps into the right project folder so that you have all of the right relevant information, but you can bring in any plans into DroneDeploy. We have, it's very, very easy to just find your right project folder, you set it up once, and then the maps, every time you create a new map in that project, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, it'll automatically send to that right project folder.
Very cool. And I'm assuming kind of the remote collaboration part comes into play here too, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, not everyone can be inside DroneDeploy, and not, right, more times there's a lot of people within BIM 360. And one thing with construction is being able to have that documentation in one place so you know where to go. And so we just want to eliminate that manual step and make it really easy for our customers to just have all of their maps in the right place, whether they need to go back for whatever reason, right? They need to go check an issue, they want to validate work, see if a subcontractor actually completed the work that they had assigned them to, right? Or if you're having a dispute and you want to validate what the site looked like on a very specific day and time, you can go back in history, go back in time and see that map and model and get a very clear view of what was going on that day.
Cool. And then my last question for you, similar to the other two panelists, is what's next for you guys? What's coming and what are you working on?
Yeah, so we're going to continue to push the boundaries and how our customers in this industry want to digitize their sites and make sense of that data. And so, we want to empower them to be able to process anything, any site data. And so whether they're looking at their exterior or interior, from the ground, from the air, we really want to make sure that our customers can understand and access all of that information and have that full context of their site.
Cool. All right, so I want to open it up to some questions for all the panelists, and we'll also make sure that we tackle the audience questions. So actually, let's maybe tackle the audience questions first. And I think that they were directed at you, Roger, the first one, about whether your solution will integrate with Assemble.
Yes, we don't have a direct integration with Assemble, but if you can get that data from Assemble into an Excel sheet, you can use our Google or OneDrive integration. Also, we do have a Navisworks plugin, so if you're able to get Assemble into Navisworks and then push that with your model, then we do support it.
Great. And then there was one other question from Manny, I think to you as well, around the reaction of safety managers to augmented reality being used while people are out in the field.
Yeah, this does come up. So we do work with a lot of clients who have these concerns, and they've implemented buddy systems. So they always require somebody to be with that person who's using the headset, especially with the HoloLens, because you have that headset on your head, it can limit your view. So they do have buddy systems for that, and the HoloLens is actually safety approved as well. So you can actually wear that. We have hard hat clips that you can clip on, to the hard hat, so that HoloLens is attachable to that. So we do try to make it as safe as possible.
Great. And if there's any other audience questions, please feel free to ask them. And in the meantime, I have a bunch more for you guys to get through, but I'm really curious first and foremost around how the effects of COVID on your industry dynamics. So how has the current climate really changed, either, kind of accelerated your business or changed the emphasis that you're placing in certain areas right now? Anyone?
Yeah, I can start if that's okay.
Yeah, I can as well. Please go on, Kathy.
Okay. Yeah, so for our customers, it's actually been very interesting to see, what was going to happen during COVID, because I think we work with construction and agriculture and energy. We've actually seen a big increase in drone flights for our customers that have been working with us. And right, what I was talking about before, you're bringing that context. You only need one person on site to fly the drone. They can capture their entire site in minutes. Under an hour, you can get all the information you need, and then you can share that information with anyone. We have live streaming as well, so you can, even remotely share when you're on site. And so our CEO has said that the drone is the best socially distant worker, because you don't need to have non-essential employees on site. You can get the full context. You can do remote inspections and have very detailed maps and models to really understand what's going on, so that you're keeping people safe. You don't have to be on site. The owners can do a walkthrough without ever going on site and really feel like they're connected and they know what's going on the job site. So it's been interesting for our customers. I think for our customers that have been trying to get traction with their programs, the silver lining is that this has actually helped them explain and show the value of their drone programs.
Very cool. Yeah, we've definitely seen it accelerate certain aspects of our business as well here at Autodesk. So Dominique, did you have something to add?
Yeah, the same for us. First, it shows a need for digital transformation for the companies that are not yet cloud-based. With the type of data that we do manipulate, which is a huge data, finally they have a platform that can handle that. So this is a big move for us. So really, I shouldn't say happy by the COVID, of course not. But this shows, the value of what we do provide to the industry. On the same than what Kathy was saying is that we see more and more companies scanning sites. We do mostly indoor scanning, of course, with laser scanning, but they would send one single guy on site, and then this data becomes available to hundreds. So they can continue their design work, their retrofit work, their QA/QC work from anywhere at any time. So this shows both values to us, what we're doing today. So unfortunately, with the COVID, many companies are also slowing down their purchasing process. So on the other hand, it's not a good time for buying or selling software, definitely not. We expect that it will be back, the business will be back as normal as soon as possible.
Great. Anything else?
Yeah, for COVID, what we've seen our clients do is make heavy use of remote assist on HoloLens. So remote assist allows you to make calls. So what you can do is you can go out to the field, you can put on the HoloLens, and you can connect to somebody on Teams or Outlook, and you can have a meeting, a virtual meeting with that hologram. So you can actually see the hologram, and it live streams back to the office. So they send one guy out to the field, that person loads the model, they're viewing it, and then the person back at the office can see everything on their computer, what the user sees. So we've seen that tool be heavily used, to social distance. And as well, of course, you can send one guy out there, he can take all the pictures, he can upload all that information back to BIM 360, and they can all view that separately. So we're cloud-based, so the cloud makes it easier for COVID.
Very cool. All right, and then kind of speaking of being cloud-based, So security is obviously a big issue for everyone and keeping data secure. So how do you guys handle, security and kind of reassuring your customers that their data will be safe with you?
Yeah, this is a big one. Definitely on the COVID, with the people stuck at home, there are more and more cyber security issues. So definitely we have engaged a SOC 2 compliancy program. We need to show to the customers that all their data is safe, which it is. So we do regular penetration testings by auditors. So people need to, working with big accounts like we do, we have seen that the IT teams are very keen on what we do. And so they offer regularly questionnaires, which are 300 questions, 500 questions we need to answer. Is the data safe? So it is safe, and we prove that by penetration testings on the SOC 2 compliance.
Yeah, DroneDeploy as well. We're SOC 2 type 1 compliant. We have, the ISO 27001 compliance, working through making sure we have the right international compliance as well with GDPR and things like that. And then I'm sure with the other two panelists as well, right? You have management and SSO and user permissioning and things like that to make sure that there's the right people in DroneDeploy and the right projects. And as an administrator, you have the control to make sure that everyone has the right access, whether they need view or edit or full, access with pilot, the ability to be a pilot. And so just giving our customers that flexibility, but same as Dominique, right? You want that foundation to make sure that as a cloud SaaS provider, we have the right certifications for cloud security.
And just like the other two panelists said, we are focused on making sure we are compliant, and we do work with our customers on any security concerns. We do also offer offline solutions as well, so that if they're not comfortable uploading it to the cloud, we also have push to device, which allows you to push your model directly to the HoloLens or to the iPad. So clients who are really concerned about security can use that. And of course, we have SSO, and you can integrate with OneDrive and Google and store your data there instead. And we are working on having on-prem solutions as well, so you don't have to host your data with VisualLive. You can host it on your premise.
Okay, thank you. And I did see a couple more questions come in from the audience. So I think this is to you, Dominique, but the question is around, do I understand correctly that the scan data that resides on a cloud, I would get access to as a customer to view it? That's...
Sorry, could you?
Do I understand correct? The scan data resides on a cloud, and as a customer, I would get access to view.
Yeah, absolutely. So the goal here is to make your laser scan data fully cloud compatible. So, and then of course we manage user access and permissions with various types of roles. On everything we do in the cloud is mesh based. Okay, so we do transform the source point cloud into high resolution 3D meshes, which will make the data about 10 to 20 times smaller in size. But the good news, and this is what the patent is about, we can turn back this mesh back to the point cloud, to the source point cloud, with almost no loss of information. So it's also a distribution platform, because at some point you need a point cloud in Revit, you need a point cloud in Navisworks to do Scan to BIM. So everything in the browser is mesh-based, and the cloud is mesh-based. But when you download the data for distribution, we turn it back to the source point cloud. But also you can also download it as a mesh, of course.
Okay, and then kind of following up that, the question around downloading a chunk as point cloud data, is it able to then import for further editing software?
Yes. So you can various ways to download the data. First, you can crop the data, so only export sections or whatever, or a set of scans, or only a small area, what we call a work zone. And then we do offer the option to turn it back as a point cloud, so that will be a RCP, RCS format, the Autodesk point cloud format, or E57. Or you can also download this as a mesh. It will be an OBJ, SVX, or STL format.
Great. All right, I have one more question for you guys to tackle today. And I know we talked a little bit for each of you what your company is focusing on next, but I'd like to bring it up a level and ask what's the next big trends in your industries right now? So what are you guys kind of seeing happening out there? And for our partners who might be in similar spaces, or for customers who are looking for solutions in these spaces, what's on the horizon? What's coming next?
I think for DroneDeploy, because we're working with drones and certain other hardware, right, that's on site, for us, the bigger trends are around automation and AI. And so working with our customers and figuring out not just how they can bring and capture more site data, but then also once the hardware starts going into a point where it's a drone on every job site, you have drone in the box. We have, you know, customers that are in transportation and railways and oil and gas, right, where they want a drone every couple miles to regularly capture information. And so when you have double, triple, quadruple, right, 100x the amount of data, right, helping our customers make sense of that, and then get insights on it, understanding change detection, understanding over time how things are progressing, and using machine learning, right, to help and facilitate that information. And so, you know, already starting with us, if you saw in our video, right, we can automatically count trees on site. We can automatically detect how large and the volume and the cut and fill for if you're doing earthworks or if you have stockpiles, we can, you know, automatically do certain analysis. And so we're already starting to do some of that, but just continually working with our customers as their data sets are getting bigger, as they're bringing in more types of data, how can they make sense of it?
I would certainly say the same. There are more and more ways to document a site. Drones are a very good example of that. When it comes about indoor surveying, so it's more about laser scanning, but we see more and more people using simple panoramic images as well. Mobile indoor devices like being brought to the market by Leica, like the BLK To Go or Navis VLX system. So more and more types of indoor scanning solutions. So we need to be compatible with that. And as Kathy said, more and more automated way of extracting meaningful information. Once the data is in the cloud, people are asking, okay, can I analyze my floor flatness? Can I do automatic clash detection? Can I do a lot of stuff? So mixing Scan and BIM, you know, in the cloud allows to do a lot of various analytics, and AI is helping a lot. So there's interesting stuff in everything BIM coordination, and there's everything interesting stuff in the asset management as well. So a lot to do in those areas.
For VisualLive, we've been focused on progress tracking, and there's a lot of things changing with AR, and specifically, they are starting to invest time into spatial understanding and object recognition. So what we want to do is we want to take that technology and be able to go out to the field, scan the area, and then be able to compare whether or not those objects are installed or not. So without, you know, any, you know, manual labor of, you know, saying this is installed, you can just scan the area and it will automatically mark that for you. We're also working alongside Microsoft on, you know, pulling that data back into, you know, other software like web viewers like Forge, and being able to see those spaces.
Very cool. Well, I know we're almost at time, but I learned a ton today. So I appreciate you guys joining us and sharing all of the really awesome work you have been doing. You know, the session was recorded, so anyone on the call right now, you'll get a follow-up email tomorrow with that recording link. You can also find it on our blog. And then we are going to continue the series into September. And Sanjana, do you want to kind of walk through a quick preview of the next couple of sessions since you're going to be leading them?
Sure. Yeah. So, okay. As Emily mentioned, I'll be hosting the next set of Forge Partner Talks. So this begins on September 2nd, and it leads up to AU. The topics are listed here. In autumn, we will be focusing on the convergence of AEC and manufacturing, industrialized construction, virtual innovations in construction, and automating with the Microsoft Power Platform. So please stay tuned, bookmark the link shown here, check it frequently for more details and panelist announcements as the dates get closer. Yeah, thank you for joining. See you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to our guests.
Thank you.
And thanks to our attendees. See you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.